Today we are talking about winning the money game, and what we do during these sessions is we do what I call flow tap or flow tapping. Flow tapping. So this is basically you just tap while I'm talking through a particular topic, and you can ask all the questions that you like in the chat. I welcome questions. In fact, if you would like me to cover a specific topic with these tapping sessions, please let me know. I will see if I can accommodate you. But the reason that we do this flow tap, which is non-stop tapping, continuous tapping, is because even if you are not focusing on a specific issue, this is actually working on calming the central nervous system. This will be working on issues in the background that you're not even aware that you're working on. This is the beauty of doing this tapping. So that's why I've combined this flow tapping with my love of teaching and training and helping you to understand concepts so you can win in life in general, so you can succeed and bring your goals, your dreams to life, so you can be the best possible version of you and live the life of your dreams. Happy, wealthy, in love, all of it. And while you are tapping, you are literally working on those background blocks and limiting beliefs. You are becoming a better version of you. So however long we're here, 20 minutes, half an hour, just tap. And if you don't want to tap like this the whole time because like your arms might get a bit tired, then you can do this. So you just tap on the tips of your fingers, on the ends of your fingers like that. It's amazing. You can do this anywhere. So you just continually rotate. And just imagine you're sitting somewhere and you're feeling a little anxious or a little nervous. You can be waiting to do a presentation or sitting, I don't know, anywhere, and you're feeling a bit stressed. Just do this. Nobody will pay any attention to you. Nobody cares. They might just think, oh, she's got a little bit of a nervous thing going on. Who cares? So, but I'm going to do this, and I encourage you to do this. So we're talking about winning the game of money today. So where is the game of money won first? Where do you think the game of money is won first? In here, of course, it is won in here first. This is the primary place that you win the game of money is in the mind. If you can take control of your mind around money, and not run away with all these other negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, and thoughts of it not being safe and you not being good enough and all that BS, then you win at money, period. So getting control of the mind, the way you think about money, what you believe about money, of course, it is your wealth consciousness. Your wealth consciousness is the foundation of everything. Consciousness is the foundation of everything. Consciousness is the answer to absolutely everything. So your ability to take control of your mind, it's not even control, because control is an illusion. None of us control anything. And the more you try to control everything, the more it will seem out of control. It's weird the way that works. But it's being aware. It's more an awareness of what is going on in the mind. Because the more you are aware, the more you can direct your thoughts in a way that supports you rather than sabotages you. And that's what you aim to do. You aim to foster and cultivate thoughts and beliefs that support you instead of sabotaging you. Makes sense, doesn't it? So your awareness of what's going on up here, and there's no judgment and criticism here, right? There's no judgment. No, you stupid idiot. You had those negative thoughts again. Oh, gosh, I just can't break this pattern. Stupid me. How's that working for you? That internal self-deprecation and beating yourself up. I know. We all do it. But the more you're aware of it, the more you can smile and just go, okay, that's not been working for me in the past. I'm changing, I'm shifting. So, wealth consciousness, tame your money monsters. It is recognizing the limiting beliefs around money, the limiting beliefs and the negative judgments and criticisms around wealth, around wealthy people, the lack of self-worth and deserving. These are all things that you can work on. These are all things that you can journal on. These are all things that you can do the self-discovery, and you can do what we're doing right now. So I want you to actually take a moment and identify any limiting beliefs you have around money, any negative judgments you have around money. Money's dirty. Money's evil. Money is the root of all evil. That's always a good one. Money doesn't grow on trees. There's never enough money. Money is scarce. Money is unpredictable. Money is unreliable. Money causes me stress. Money causes me anxiety. Money's never there when I want it. Do you see that? And these are quite common. Even if you don't have these yourself, you can probably relate to what I'm talking about. You can probably recognize and appreciate that these kinds of judgments and this negative talk around money is quite common. So now think about wealth. Do you have any negative judgments or thoughts around wealth? Maybe wealth and you. Maybe you have these beliefs that, I'm never going to be wealthy. Because particularly if you are struggling financially, or if you have challenges with money and finances, look, cash flow is king. And no matter who you are, you're always going to have times when you have cash flow issues. Now, if you are Elon Musk, those cash flow issues may not be causing you to make decisions about what you eat this week. It's probably more like, how am I going to fund this $100 million project this week? But even then, when you're managing that kind of money, the consequences of mismanaging that kind of money have a lot bigger, the consequences are a lot larger, aren't they? They may not be as personally consequential, but the consequences for the potential outcome are a lot larger. So you won't be given more money to manage until you can manage the money that you've got. Makes sense, doesn't it? The universe, source, God, the divine will not give you more money to manage until you can manage the money that you've got. And you may be going, I haven't got any money. Okay. Are you eating? Do you have any source of money at all that you are using to survive? Start there. Even if you take $1 a day and put it aside in a piggy bank. And these are not austerity measures. These are just learning to manage money. And if you manage the money you have, you will be given more money. If you manage the money you have well, then you'll be given more money to manage. Works that way. It really does. Because it flips your brain on how you think about money. It flips your brain on how you invest money in the future. And a good money steward will find a way to manage their money and their finances no matter how much they've got. And that's just a skill that you learn. That's not rocket science. You just apply your mind to managing the money better. I actually, there was something I read this week. Actually, it was this morning. And it was on Facebook, of all things. This person was going to a psychotherapist, and they turned up the first week, and the psychotherapist said, "So what went well for you this week?" There is a point to this story, by the way, in winning the game of money. What went well for you this week? And he's going to a psychotherapist. He's not exactly in the best place mentally. He's like, no, found a couple of things that went well. And then the next week, he'd had the worst week. And he turns up, and the psychotherapist goes, "So what went well for you this week?" And he blurted out all the shit that had happened to him during the week. And it was a pretty bad week. Like, somebody had died, he'd broken his leg. It was a pretty crap week. But he felt annoyed by the question because she was ignoring his struggles, his pain. He just wanted to talk about his pain. And she's going, "So what went well for you this week?" She doubled down on the question. Third week, he was even more irritated. He said the fourth week and the fifth week were sort of similar. And then by the sixth week, before he went to the psychotherapy session, good on him for not giving up on the psychotherapy at this point. But before he went to the session, he thought, "Oh my God, I better think of things that have gone well this week because I know she's going to ask me that question." So within a few weeks, he started to notice how his focus was changing. Instead of thinking how crap his life was and how everything was always going wrong, he was starting to look for things that were going right. And he said by the sixth week, he was actually excited to tell her, it might not have been the sixth week, but within a few sessions, he was excited to tell her what had gone well with him for that week. And all of a sudden, the momentum started to change. Instead of everything going wrong, things started to go right. The point of this story is that it is your focus, what you give your focus and attention to, that amplifies. So you give your focus and attention to, "I've never got enough money." You give your focus and attention to, "Crap, I'm broke again. I have not enough money at the end of my month. I can't pay my bills. There's this stack of bills over here, and there's my bank account says like $5. If that's what you're constantly giving, I know that is your reality that you are living and experiencing. But what is that? What is the experience that you're having today? The experience that you're having today is the consequence of the thoughts that you had tomorrow. So it is, David Bayer calls it an echo of yesterday and the day before and the day before that and the day before that. So it is yesterday's news. Today's results are yesterday's news. They're the consequence of previous thinking. So tomorrow's results will be the consequence of what you think today. So you start shifting your thinking, your attention, your focus, your life changes. You start looking for opportunities and ways that you can get ahead financially. That will amplify. Your focus and attention amplifies the results that you get. So if you don't like the results that you got right now, then what are you going to do about it? What are you going to change? Where is your attention going to go today to change your results tomorrow? Okay, so now we come to alignment, coherence, and resonance. I say this all the time in my videos, and this is not Einstein, Nikola Tesla. If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. This is the foundation of the teachings of the law of attraction, energy, frequency, and vibration. You are energy, frequency, and vibration. So your coherence with the transmission and the signal that you are sending out to source, the divine, the universe, God, will be amplified. If the transmission, your frequency and vibration, if the transmission is either incoherent, scrambled, or it's sending out fear and stress signals about your financial situation, guess what you're going to get back? It will just, it's a boomerang. It will just return whatever signals you are putting out. You can't put out signals of, oh my God, I don't have enough money, and receive floods of money. Doesn't work that way. So what is your dominant frequency and vibration? You can have moments, not even just moments. You can have times during the day that you might be feeling stressed and anxious. We all do. It's all a roller coaster. There's no judgment here. We all ride this roller coaster. But the point is, what is the dominant emotion? What is the dominant frequency and vibration that you are sending out? The signal that you are sending out. Now, what happens is, if you say, I'm going to be really, 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 really rich, but the frequency and vibration that is being emitted from the subconscious is, holy crap, I'm really broke, then that is the dominant frequency. That is your vibration. It is incoherent and incongruent with the words that are coming out of your mouth. Now, positive thinking, if you continue to think good thoughts, then it's going to shift that dominant frequency. And that you will find there's a tipping point. So, there's that emotional scale that Abraham Hicks talks about. And that is also in the book Power versus Force by, the name escapes me, is it Hawkins? I think it might be David Hawkins. Oh, that's bad. I need to look that up and make sure I get that right. But it's your frequency adjusts to your state of being, to your emotional state of being. So joy, love, happiness, that's high on the emotional scale. You vibrate at a much higher frequency. Shame, despair, disappointment, anger, revenge, they're all low on the scale. So your work, your job to win, this is all still about winning the game of money, by the way. Your work is to master your internal state of being. Now, when you master, and you're a work in progress, you're not expected to do this all, right, all at once and become a master today or tomorrow or even next week. It's the practice of becoming the person who is a master of your state of being, who doesn't get rocked by the next bill shock that comes in. Okay? So getting into flow, getting into that state of flow while we're doing flow tapping. If you came in late and you wonder why I'm constantly tapping, this is flow tapping. So you're just tapping along with me while I'm going through these principles that will help you to win the game of money. All right? Believe me, it's powerful. So to get into the flow of money, again, that is mastering your state of being, mastering your frequency and vibration. Now, once you've done that, that's when you can step into this place of strategy. Actually, let me rewind that. Because I overstated that. You are constantly working on the self-mastery. You are constantly working on mastering your frequency and vibration. That just doesn't stop. That's continuous process. While you're doing that, you are also looking at being strategic, being a strategic thinker. Every single wealthy and successful person in the world who has been like self-made, they're all strategic thinkers. You think about somebody like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, who else? Who are some of the most, oh my gosh, my mind has gone blank. How the hell? Richard Branson and other highly, highly successful people in the world, they think in terms of strategy. They all have problems that you would absolutely make you gasp, but they are strategic in their approach to everything. So a problem arises, they are solution focused, and there's never an I can't. There's always, oh, okay, this is unexpected, interesting. This is giving me cause for pause. Don't think they don't have fear and stress and anxiety. They just don't let it rule their lives. They don't allow it to affect their decision making. They are strong decision makers, and they choose in favor of the optimum outcome with what they know. Let me repeat that. They choose in favor of the optimum outcome depending on what they know. So they war game the different options as far as the different strategies that they can implement. And then they implement the best possible strategy, the optimum strategy from what they know to get the outcome they want. And they never, ever stop doing that. Even if that strategy does not work, they go, okay, well, why didn't it work? They're constantly wargaming. They're constantly wargaming. So the decisions that you make, the choices that you make are key. Are you playing to win the game, or are you playing not to lose? So the vast majority of people keep losing because they're playing not to lose. They're so scared of making a mistake. They're so scared of getting it wrong, of losing money. And Warren Buffett, his number one rule is don't lose money. But the thing is, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Meh. Life is a gamble. Life is a risk. You go and bet on the horses, or you bet on anything. Don't recommend you bet on horses because I don't agree with horse racing. That's a whole other story. But you risk losing that money. So you always take calculated risks. Like I said, you war game everything. You look at your options. This is a key thing that you need to really embody is, what are my options? The vast majority of people get stuck. Why? Because they're looking at the problem like a deer in headlights going, holy crap, I've got this problem. Shift it, pattern interrupt. Okay, what are my options? This sucks. What are my options? Because you have far more options than you realize. What are my options? This is where strategic thinkers go, right? So you've got to become a strategic thinker. You are bigger than any problem or challenge you will ever face. Way bigger than any problem or challenge you will ever face. And there is never a problem or challenge you cannot solve. Ever. That is not the way the universe works. So become a strategic thinker. Play the money game to win. In order to play the money game to win, what do you have to know? You have to know the rules of the game, don't you? Learn the rules of the money game and learn the rules that the successful and the wealthy play by. Not the ones that everybody else is playing by, because guess what? It's not working. For the 99%, those rules are not working. So you've got to learn the rules of the money game of the rich and the wealthy. Wait, what? How do I do that? We are beyond the information age. We are in information overwhelm age. We're actually now in the transformation age and the age of consciousness, which is fantastic. Wait a long time to get to this point in humanity. But the point is, any information that you want is available out in the ether, out in the internet, the World Wide Web. And now with artificial intelligence, that's a game changer, because your search is now gone from days, even weeks, into minutes. So actually, there's a story that seems unrelated, but bear with me. So I don't know if you've heard this story that's gone viral in the last few days, of a man, actually an Australian man, who has a tech background. And he had this beautiful dog. I think it's a Staffordshire Terrier, like a Staffy. Looks like a Staffy. And him and his dog had been through quite a few intense years. And like, this dog was his best mate. And she got cancer. And they were doing chemo and all sorts, and it wasn't working. She was going downhill. And so this guy went to Chat GPT with his tech background, and he started looking for ways to create an mRNA gene therapy injection, and actually work with the specific signature of the cancer and the specific signature of the dog to find a targeted therapy that would work with that specific cancer. And he found one. He worked with a company. He paid $3,000 for a lab to analyze the cancer tumor that he had the surgery for the dog, took the cancer tumor out. They analyzed the signature of the makeup of the cancer. They took the bloods of the dog, and then he worked with ChatGPT and Grok. Grok actually came up with the ultimate mRNA injection. And one of the tumors shrank, but one of the tumors shrank by 50%. And he said the dog in December was like, she was disappearing fast. She had no energy. She was getting sicker and sicker. And it was like the vets had said, look, we can't do any more for her. We can't keep treating her because she's just going downhill. It's not good. Take her home, keep her comfortable, say her goodbyes. By January, after this therapy, she's jumping around all over the place. Now, this is a therapy that has never been applied before. He wasn't a vaccinologist. He wasn't somebody who would champion the mRNA platform thing. And I know, like, I'm not in that space either, but he worked with AI to be able to create something that extended his dog's life. Now, the dog's not cured of cancer, but I think she's like 8 or something. And she's back running around like a puppy again. So Lord knows how long that's going to last. But the whole point, I know that we're talking about money here, but the whole point is, if you are willing to look for solutions, there's always a solution. Don't accept the status quo. Don't accept that, oh, this is my lot in life, or, oh, it's never going to work for me, or there's no way around this. It's just the way it is. Bullshit. Like, seriously. This is your life we're talking about. How long are you going to accept mediocrity and being stuck? The decisions that you make are going to affect the results that you have tomorrow and the day after and the day after and the day after that. The decisions that you make today. So start making different decisions, different choices. Give your focus and attention to something that actually benefits your future, to the life that you want to create. And you will be amazed how quickly everything turns around. So the whole point of that story was to really bring home to you that it's all the strategic thinking. It's thinking in the terms of strategy. What's the solution here? How can I innovate to create a new solution? Or is there already a solution that I'm not aware of that I need to research? Oh, that was the point of the AI story too, was that with AI, I mean, that would not have been possible for a guy with zero background in that technology. And if, to be perfectly fair, if it had been a laboratory doing that, it probably would have taken them months, even years, to be able to develop that. And I'm sure he had advice. He wouldn't have done it on his own, from people in that field. But your research can be shortened to minutes using AI. It's just when you get the right prompts. You need the right prompts, and know that the different platforms have different strengths. There's plenty of information out there about AI too, and there's plenty of courses about AI. So if you're not on board with AI yet, get on board with AI. It's a freaking game changer. So winning the game of money. It's learning how to play the game to win. It's getting into coherence and alignment and resonance with money, with wealth. I did the tap and talk that I did one of the tap and talks I did last week was about monetizing your genius and about profiting from your soul's purpose. So you will find that in my library on my YouTube channel. So you can do that tap and talk as well. And it's really focusing and putting your attention on what is it that you want to create? What is it that I need to know and learn about money in the money game? And building that strategic thinking, right? So all of those things are within your control. And while the 99% are out there still struggling, still battling because they're playing by the wrong rules, because they're not thinking strategically, because they're just repeating the same Groundhog Day over and over and over and over and over, and they're not shifting their thinking and their focus and their attention, and they're not calming their central nervous system with flow tapping, so they can be calm and they can be more present and they can be more solution focused and managing their money well. You know, most people are living paycheck to paycheck regardless of their income. You may think that having a 7-figure income will solve all your problems. It won't. You'll have more. You'll have more problems. There'll be different problems, but you'll have more problems. It's incredible the way money doesn't solve problems. It just gives you different problems to solve. True story. So what are you going to do from here? This is the question. What is the next most logical step for you? Out of everything that I've shared today, what is the next most logical step for you? Now, you can do things like, okay, you see back there, you've got Think and Grow Rich. You've got Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You've got Money by Tony Robbins. There's another book called Fake by Robert Kiyosaki as well. All about managing money. Mark Moss on YouTube. He's amazing. I've been listening to experts about commodities, gold and silver. There's lots of speculation in relation to Bitcoin at the moment, which took a massive dive a couple of months ago, and it's coming back. Why do you think it's coming back? Bitcoin is starting to come back because it's a commodity or an investment that can't be confiscated. Well, as far as I know, it can't be confiscated. Who knows what governments will do? But something like gold and silver can potentially be confiscated. And in the this military action that's happened in Iran, there was a story about what happened in 1979 that I just heard a couple of days ago about a family who fled Iran when the first revolution happened in 1979, and everybody rose up and kicked out the Shah. Bad move in hindsight, but they kicked out the Shah, and there were many families who were fleeing. What they did was they converted all their possessions and sold them for gold. The problem was this family, everything that they had, all the wealth that they had was in gold. The family went to get on the plane to flee, to get out of the country, and they were told they could not take the gold with them. The gold was confiscated from them. Everything they had worked for, gone at the airport. You either stay in the country or you leave the gold behind. It's your choice. Well, it was a bad choice to stay in the country, so they left gold behind. That doesn't happen with Bitcoin. And apparently, the purchases of Bitcoin went up in Iran when the military action started by something like 350%, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but that's the number that's stuck in my head. Because they convert their wealth into Bitcoin, they get to the other end, their wealth is still intact. It's not confiscated. They're not carrying anything with them. And then they can convert it back to money. So, and blockchain is a very legitimate form of wealth building at this point. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future. I can't say it's a secure investment. There's a lot of people who got very, very, very rich in cryptocurrency. But make sure you know what the risks are. Make sure you understand how it works. Don't play games you don't understand. So I hope you've gotten plenty of value out of today, whether you're here live, whether you're watching the replay. I hope you've done plenty of tapping. I want you to check in with your central nervous system. Take a breath for me. How do you feel? Calmer, huh? I'm buzzing all over. Tapping's just amazing. So what I can offer you right now is a very special offer on this breakthrough process that I have that is unbelievable. And it is called the Wealth Blueprint Breakthrough. It is absolutely transformational. And you can find, I will put the link, I haven't put the link in the description yet, but you will find the link in the description below. The Wealth Blueprint Breakthrough Analysis is an in-depth analysis to find out what your blocks and limiting beliefs are. I put together an entire strategy to clear out your 3 top blocks and limiting beliefs in money, wealth, abundance, and success. And I actually work with the analysis that you send me, that you fill out for me, because I created the analysis. And I create a strategic action plan for you to get from where you are to where you want to be financially and living the life that you love. If that's something that interests you, I will get the link in the description below for the Wealth Blueprint Breakthrough. I hope that you take advantage of the very special price that I've got about right now and keep tapping. And I'd love your feedback below. And if you want me to do a specific tapping on a specific topic one day with my tap and talks, let me know. All right. And please like to push this out to the algorithm so more and more people get to experience this incredible technique. All right. I love you loads. Take care. Choose to win the game of money. Every decision that you make is about winning the game of money from this point forward. It matters. Your wealth matter. Your dreams matter. You matter. I'll see you in the next Tap and Talk in a couple of days. Cheers.